All right, so on this fine Friday morning, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to smack some back, hit 30 minutes of cardio, and then go play some pickleball on a tennis court. So not exactly competitive, more jovial, more kind of just a volley back and forth kind of situation. The tennis court's fenced in though, so we can bring the dogs. That's sort of the main part. But yeah, right now, staying lean. And in doing so, by eating a little bit less food, I am feeling the deficit for sure. So what I mean by that is I just did legs, 2 days ago only? So yeah, 2 days. All I did was one big ass set of Smith squats. And it wasn't even that insane. Like, I probably could have done one more, honestly. But my hamstrings are burning. My quads are still tender. I think I might be due for a rest day. Maybe not today. Well, obviously not today because we're headed to the gym, but soon-ish. And then on that leg day, I was talking to this dude in kind of one of the back rooms, and he was telling me this story about this guy he knew, just huge, loved the gym, got after it, went pro at like 212, just a total hunk of freaking, I don't know, he didn't show me a picture or anything, I'm just kind of imagining based off his description. And then the end of the story was, yeah, and he met this girl. The girl didn't really care about the gym. Now he doesn't work out anymore. He's totally out of shape. He lost it. So that's not a blame her situation. Whatever. What that kind of got me thinking about was just how much there's so much potential out there, right? There's so much potential to get some cool things done, and I don't just mean competitive bodybuilding. Honestly, I think the coolest part about bodybuilding is being the bodybuilder, not necessarily competing. When I'm working out, I'm lifting because I want to get bigger, because I like it and it's cool. I'm not, doing a back day because I'm thinking, I want to do a really wide lat spread for the show. That's sort of a secondary motivation. First off is I want to have a big back. Just because walking around like that gets me going. That's kind of my thing. But, with anything, right? And there's so much jargon of, I see this a lot, especially, not to just pinhole this discussion to the gym, but it's kind of something that at least all my social media is wrapped around. And it's different guys, and they're moving across the country, they're getting after it, they're making videos of stuff, and it's like, I see a lot of things that are half executed, is essentially what I'm saying, right? And that can feel probably like a full execution. You can go to the gym every day in a week and make zero progress whatsoever. You can go to the gym every day for a year and make no progress. So to someone who thinks, hey man, I showed up, what the hell, I deserve it, I showed up, I should be making results, what the hell. That should be mentality just isn't going to fucking work. You need a little bit more of a objective reflection to say, okay, shit, I don't think I'm doing enough. And that's not a very comfortable thing to think. It's not very cool. You don't feel cool when you have to think to yourself, all right, shit, I think I've actually been slacking. Because it's so easy to trick yourself. It's so easy to kind of convince your own mind, I haven't been, it's because of 10 other random things. It's because of, it's winter time, I get kind of gloomy in the winter. And, it's summertime, we don't have as much time for the gym, we're all hanging out and we're doing, school just started, and it's just terrible. So what I'm getting at is, just try not to make any fucking excuses. We all got the same amount of time, and we all definitely have the same capability of totally blowing that time. So you don't have to be on it 100%, but at least enough so that you get the things that you want to get done. I think you're gonna have a better time. That's my main point. And some people can't help themselves. Some people, I see it, and this is just strangely motivated because they're trying to, if you start a fitness TikTok and you try to make like a couple hype videos and then you make one video of you doing like a mukbang where you eat a whole bunch of shit, and that video got a lot of views and likes, that's going to make that kid think, okay, I should just keep doing that. It's just totally strange. I mean, I don't know if your if your For You page or your social media feeds are as just weird as that, but it's just not good to see. So, I guess boil that all up to just try to make some shit happen. Because a lot of people they catch themselves, or I guess they don't catch themselves, but we would recognize that they're just toiling. They're spinning their gears. They're kind of doing something, but they're not really getting anywhere. They hopped off the sinking ship, but they're not swimming towards shore. They're just treading water, and that's not what I want to do. I don't want to get caught treading. I want to be on some sort of path, whether that's getting a little leaner, getting a little bigger. I'm sure eventually getting a little bit more athletic. Now, obviously, my version of athletic is a bit of a stretch compared to, like a real actual athlete, like a 4-second 40 type dude. But I mean, I could totally see that happening in the future. So until then, my main priority of staying lean for a little while, that's going to be number one. That's the MO. So I'm not going to go and crunch down, or I'm not going to go and just destroy 2 Caniac combos today. I'll save that for later. But I think nothing else to say. Kind of just turning into a ramble. I'm still waking up. This is kind of an early one. Let's get in there and get back started. All right, let's get crazy here. Oh, 2 more. And then this row will be next. Oh, I'll do a light squeezing set, or a light squeezing movement for lats, but not yet. 1 more of those. Alright, that's enough of that. Let's move on. Whew. 2 more. Okay. One more. Okay. Okay. Back to a pull down. If you're feeling strong, I say make hay while the sun is fucking shining. I don't think every workout needs to be as heavy as you can go, 8 reps failure, partials only. But let's say you come in for a back day like myself. Ooh, 300 on the stack isn't feeling that crazy. It's still heavy, but doable. It's still heavy, but movable. And in that sense, I want to change it up. You know, I don't want every workout to be the same. So if I do a really weight tension biased lift today, maybe next back day, we'll come in and do like mainly just light squeezing shit, you know? I mean, I did a super light squeezing back day, I think 2 back days ago or so. So this is just the tide coming back in, right? Back and forth, sun, moon, whatever, you know. The last thing I want to do is have a training routine or even just like a lifting philosophy that's just like this. So close-minded, got the blinders on, not open to new shit. Like if anything, I think the most important part about anybody's training is training diversity, right? Training variability. I'm not saying you gotta shock the muscle or the muscle even knows that it's getting shocked, but it doesn't hurt to try. So let's bust out some more heavy lats. Oh shit. All right, let's go a little lighter. Let's do 200 instead of 300. All right, let's rip a row. All right. Okay. Okay. I got a plan for the finisher. Now we can pose down. Yeah, this will be perfect. Half row, half pull down. Best of both freaking worlds. All right. Yeah, there we go. Two. Yeah. 2. Yeah. Ugh. Okay. Whew. All right. Let's see how we're looking. Oh. All right, so that was quite the lift. Started off heavy as a mofo, full stack pull downs, 5-plate rows. Now, this is something to be discussed. I think that doing 5 or 6-ish of those rows earlier, where I'm like up here holding it, good full reps, and then 4 partials where I'm only getting like here instead of way back here, I still think that adds up. I still think those count as solid, effective partials. Because sure, I can't get my elbows all the way back to like, back level, but I'm still getting a really good contraction on my traps. So that's something that you'd say the science-based lifter will do on occasion. They'll get on a row just like this, but rather than do a full rep, what they're doing is they're doing a shrug towards their spine, not towards their neck, right? So it's kind of a combination of the two, right? So I'm not totally against that, but for me at least, I'd probably rather do a mix of both. So start with full real rows, and then once I can't really do a full row, then kind of turning it into more of this shrug until I really can't even fucking move the weight. But let's see how we're looking. So through the shirt, I'm already feeling like a menace, even without any posing or anything, just standing. I can already see a little bit of Christmas tree silhouette. So let's just jump straight to it. Oh, I ended up getting rained out, so pickle off the table. Unfortunate. But that's all right. I might just do a little bit of extra cardio. I think 30, I think I gotta up my game. At least to maybe a 45 or something. Because from what I noticed in my last prep, more cardio helps me. So obviously I'm not gonna do 2 hours, but I might creep it back up to 45 minutes, maybe 1 hour. I got a cardio bike in the basement. It's really not that hard to add an hour, or to add 30. All you do is play on your phone. Oh my goodness. That's a back pump. That is most certainly a freaking back pump. And this is probably one of the coolest things for me to see. Not just like in the mirror. Obviously the mirror looks pretty nuts. But even just in the camera too, is this side shot. Like there's so much shit going on here. Like it looks, like it doesn't even look normal. How pumped my, what is that? Your freaking teres major? Your teres major. So that's this little eye looking muscle right underneath my rear delt, but above my lat. So every time I'm doing a row and I'm squeezing in here, obviously I'm getting mid traps. Like if you can see, mid traps are making up that sort of center section. And outside of those, obviously, are rear delts up top, but then these teres major looking dudes on the inside. So I was hitting those a little bit on the pull downs because I was kind of trying to go something along this line instead of like way down here lats. But I mean, I don't know if I've actually seen them this distinct before. So this is straight out of the Baki verse with a Hanma back. Let me try to do a little bit of a back standing relax and really bust them out. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Just all that crazy shit going on. So for me, that gets me amped. Even though I can't really see it, except for on a camera or through the mirror, or like another mirror reflecting on my back. Just being able to see all this crazy, freaky, weird extra detail back here, is solid. And you don't have to be 230 or 240 to see this kind of shit. I mean, even back when I was 170, 180, I remember I went to this gym up in Michigan and I took a picture in the bathroom. I felt crazier than I feel right now, I think. I might have been a little full of myself at the time. But I remember taking like a selfie shot this way, and I could see some of that separation of like lats and traps and, you know, rhomboids and whatever else is going on back there. And I remember thinking just, holy shit. So it's not always a size thing. Like, you don't have to be huge to notice these little changes and to notice all this progression and whatnot. But I'm going to jump on cardio, then we can get in the freaking car and back to the crib. I've been skipping the post-workout car talk, because what I was doing is I'd drive to the gym, lift, and then just edit the video and upload it instead of going all the way back home. But I'll bring it back today. So let's get back in the car. There we go. Got a little extra crazy for that post-workout cardio and hit an hour instead of a standard 30. So my trick to doing that this time, cover up the bike's time display. Don't look at the time on your phone. Luckily, when you're playing Clash Royale, it cuts off your like that upper bar of information. Like, it doesn't show your battery and it doesn't show the time. So I get a little bit of a light tracks on shuffle playlist going. Discovered only one Bones song that I really liked today. That was getting played on loop for a little while, and then just get going. You know, you get into a zone. You definitely get into a little bit of I guess the word's more like the groove than a zone when it comes to your cardio. But if you can kind of just get yourself distracted on your phone, it really goes by like nothing. That's got to be the best use of mindless, just scrolling, video watching, whatever, because it actually does serve a solid purpose. Because 30 minutes of cardio, or however many minutes you're going to do, it's not really exciting. You don't have to give it 100% effort. You just have to do it. So that's my approach. Training, much less so. I'm not trying to scroll on my phone in between sets. The only thing I want to be using my phone for is changing songs and scrolling through a few specific TikTok edits that get me hyped up. So that's a little bit different. I'm not just mindlessly going through my random feed. Like, I'm looking at a specific Goku, Vegeta, something or other that gets me going and makes me more amped for my sets. But with the cardio, no, man. I mean, fuck. Bring your bust out a DS. I remember back when the move would be me in the back seat of the van playing Nintendo. What's the word? It was like a Nintendo arcade, a little SD or a little whatever drive is for the regular DS. Remember, I don't know how many hours of Galaga I ended up playing on that thing. High score of 127,000. I must have been 12-ish. So if you know anything about that, you tell me if it's good or bad. I feel like it's decent, but it's not crazy. You know, it's not like record level or anything crazy. But it's my record level, you know. So I guess it's important enough to me that I remember it. But now I'm gonna go home, get some food. Firstly, get some fluids in my system. Though I forgot to bring a jug. So after sweating, not only during the workout but also during the cardio session itself, I'm low. I can tell I'm probably low on fluids. I'm probably at least a pound lighter than I was in the beginning of that workout. Half from just breathing, like just from exhaling humid air from your lungs, you lose a little bit of weight, and then from sweating. So obviously it's not a ton, but just a little bit. So I'm definitely primed for some more hydration. So I think slam maybe 2 liters of something, you know, just a sugar-free flavored whatever. If you're a diehard water-only guy, you're not going to mess with any kind of aspartame, any flavoring, any whatever. Get it. Personally, I don't have a problem with it. It hasn't bothered me, and it just makes it easier to drink a ton more fluids, you know. And it's like anybody who's got a I was talking to my friend Teague yesterday. He came into the gym. He was busting out some back, and for whatever reason, I asked him if they ever do full sugar soda. Oh my God. I can't even, it's a legitimate take that someone is going to say, oh, well, come on, man. A diet soda is way worse for you than a full sugar one, bro. No, you don't get it, man. It's because of the artificial sweeteners. I mean, this might just be a me thing, or because we're in the gym, but I mean, you know, I've slammed like 3 flattened regular full sugar Cokes before a workout. So that would be what, like how many grams of sugar is in one can? It's like 36, or is it? It's not 70. I think it's like 30. I don't know. Well, either way, I've slammed that because in my head I'm thinking, all right, sugar, fluids, caffeine, hell yeah, a little bit of a pre-workout boost. The inspiration coming from OG Baki, if you know what I'm talking about there. But when I'm at the airport, you know, and I see a dude, and he, you know, maybe he's not taking his fitness as seriously as I would think that he should, but, you know, who am I to tell anybody what to do, whatever. But I see him hitting a full sugar Mountain Dew. I'm like, would you even notice? Would you even really notice if you just swapped it for a diet? And it's not like it's the biggest deal in the world, but they add up. You know, I mean, one big ass like regular bottle of a Mountain Dew is like 50 something grams of carbs, and it's not like you know, whole grains that are only gonna like gradually spike your blood sugar. Like, it's straight sugar in your freaking system. Just to have that happen all the time, at least you know, even just a couple times a day without any use case for it, it'll definitely throw your situation off. You know, now of course I'm not the guy to say never consume any sugar, never consume anything processed, you know, never consume anything but whole food, organic, whatever. Like, that's not how I'm looking at it. But, you know, I think it's a good idea to have a little bit of let's just say intent behind whatever it is you're eating. So in my case, usually, at least right now, I'm in a decently locked in kind of time period. The intent is eat some stuff that's filling, but isn't, you know, super calorie dense. So I've got a ton of base proteins, ground beef, eggs, canned chicken, tuna, things like that. That's the primary portion of the meal. Add a little something extra to it, maybe some rice cakes, maybe some, you know, maybe just a little something, doesn't matter what. And that's the point. Like, there's an actual point to it. And if I eat some junk, you know, like I had a couple Sweet Tarts ropes. It's like, I think I had like 5 of them. I don't know. Oh, I had a couple. But the point of me eating those, it ended up being about 38 grams of carbs, or like 40 grams of carbs or whatnot worth of them, was this is a little bit of a treat and I want it, and I can fit these 40 grams of carbs into my day's macros and they're still being accounted for, you know. So it's like, even if you're going off plan, if there's a little bit of an intent behind it, you're not totally screwing yourself. And this is something which really kind of annoys me. I've probably said things along the lines of this before, so, you know, I'm not trying to say that I never have. But I'm scrolling, just wasting time, and I watch a video of a guy, teenager kind of fitness dude. Seemed like he knows what he's talking about. But the video is essentially just, if you've ever cheated on your diet, you just don't want it. If you've ever skipped a training session, you just don't want it. You know, that sort of shit. Just like a demeaning, like, you don't want it as much as I do kind of thing. Which, you know, we get the logic. That's like, you know, hype yourself up, whatever. But to say that, like that, and to mean it, is coming from a perspective of perfection. So, has this dude never gone off plan? Has this guy never eaten a little something just because? It's not as though the sentiment is wrong. You know, like if I'm dieting for a bodybuilding show, let's say I wanted to do another one whenever that time ends up being, and it's like, all right, I want to do this. I want to get into this specific shape by this specific time, and here's my time before then. All right, that's enough time to do it. All I've got to do is execute and make it happen. So if I do that, well, that's kind of a test of how bad I want it, right? Like, I'm going to stick to my macros. I'm not going to cheat unless it's like a refeed. And, you know, even then, that can kind of be part of the plan. But basically, 95% of the time, you got to be on my shit. So that's a situation where, okay, man, I wanted it. I came in shape. Hell yeah. Good. So far, that's what I've been able to do for the last few. But, like, seeing that, there's always this gray median area between perspectives where the real answer lies. There is never this black and white, this or that. At least most of the time, there isn't. So, on the perspective of, if you ever cheat on any of your diet or you eat anything other than chicken and broccoli, well, then you don't want it and you're worthless. That's this side of the perspective. And on the other side is, hey man, who cares about your diet? Don't worry about it. Eat whatever you want. It makes you feel good. You're valid. Dude, come on. Don't worry about it, man. We're all cool. Or whatever that kind of guy would say, right? I think both sides of those are off. You know, obviously I'm going to lean towards this side, but there's room in between, man, you know? So it's the same with your consistency. It's the same with how often you're going to the gym, killing it, bringing it, right? If I go back in time over the last 8 years or so I've been working out, and I pick a few handful of workouts and I just erase them from existence. All the gains I got from these 5 workouts is now negligible. It didn't happen. Well, I'd still be right where I am, right? So in that sense, just a pick and choose few out of the many are basically, you know, negligible, right? They don't really mean all that much on their own. So in the same sense with your diet, every so often, you go off the rails a little bit. Sometimes I think about it like this, where if I'm dieting down and I'm getting pretty consistent, and then I have a pretty hungry day, you know, I'm really under my, maybe I had a low calorie day the day before, or I had a really hard workout, so now I'm waking up the next day hungrier. Sometimes I'll think about it like this, and I'll consider eating, you know, a whole bunch of food, not like insane 10,000, but if I'm eating like 2,700, and then I have a day where maybe I do like 4,000, I can kind of justify that as a little bit of a refeed, which is legit, you know, within reason. If you do a refeed every week, you're not dieting. That's far too frequent. But within reason, every so often, like on a maybe 1 in 6 week kind of scale, like I do mean like once every month and a half or so, then I look at it as a little bit of I got it out of my system. I was really hungry for all this stuff or whatever. Maybe I wanted to quench my sweet tooth. I did it, and now I'm back on my game, you know. But you can't do that all the time. You can't get used to doing that, because then you're not actually dieting and it's not going to work. But if I'm dieting for, you know, however many months at a time, and then by whatever, you know, let's say maybe a month and a half in or so, I've got a big refeed. It's not necessarily, you know, productive for the diet, but it gets it out of my system, then it helps me stick to whatever my regular macros are before. Or sometimes if you eat a bunch of shit, it makes you feel bad, like just physically, like your stomach's kind of upset a little bit, and then you get this kind of like correlation of eating bad food with feeling bad. There's a lot of ways to fucking go about it, you know. And to try to dog on anybody for that one day they kind of go off the rails a little bit, it's kind of like, well, you know, it's not wrong. If you want it, you're going to stick to your shit. But there's a little leeway. And when I say a little, I mean a little, like just a teensy little bit. But if you're on your game 95% of the time, odds are you can't get off your game from that 5%. So it's not like I'm trying to tell you to slack, but there's a little room. That's not the most motivational thing to say, but, you know, it's more so of something like, if you're really sticking to, I just read a comment earlier. I hope this guy's not lying, but I don't see why he would. You know, he tells me, just started working out a few months ago, started watching your videos, I weigh 400 fucking pounds, but I'm down to 383. And it's only been, you know, however many weeks. I forget the specific number. And it's like, dude, you got a long freaking trail ahead of you. That's a lot of cardio. That's a lot of calorie tracking to really stick with. But it can be done. You've already proved basically 20 pounds Some people have never lost 20 pounds in their life, and you've already got it down. So, you know, all you got to do is make sure you keep piling on eensy little steps of progress, and before you know it, this guy's going to weigh 200. This guy's going to say, no shit, I got abs. That's going to take a minute, but it's totally fucking doable. So I guess it's, I don't know. What's the point that you get out of that? Right? Because you still got to bring it, but I don't know. I'm trying to spin this in a way that's like hype, but I guess this is, I'm kind of justifying cheating on your diet, or, you know, whatever. That's not what I'm trying to say. But either way, you know, hit your lifts, do your cardio, track your macros. If you know all the details of the game that you're playing, then sometimes you can stretch the rules. That's my point. That's what I'm saying right there. The best lawyers are the ones who know the game so well that they can sneak a little something or pull out a trick or something and still win, is kind of my game. So if you're tracking your macros, you're counting your calories, you're leveraging your ability to maybe wait a little bit for your food, have some small meals in the day, and then you can eat a big ass dinner and go to bed with a full stomach feeling good, and still continue to be on the solid trajectory towards what your goals are. Well, for one, you're going to keep making your progress, which is good, and is going to get you amped up and excited, but you're also going to have a better time doing it, right? So that's why I'm such a macro tracking enthusiast rather than just pure clean eating or whatever, or meal prep, which is literally just macro tracking, but in a more like big scale way. Like, yeah, I have 5 meals. It's like, all right, well, that's 5 meals adding up to this much protein, this many carbs, this many fats. So for me, I find it easier to just track all those individually, and then, dude, I got a hankering. Maybe I've got I want to get a full, legit double quarter pounder from McDonald's tonight. For whatever reason, that is just, it's in my head, it's burning at me like oh dude, I want it. I don't really want it, but let's just assume that I do. Well, all right, what's the macros in that? Look it up, you know, probably 50 grams of carbs, probably like 40 grams of fats, and like maybe 40 grams of protein. Which McDonald's beef, it's still beef, but, you know, maybe count that as 30 instead of 40. I can fit that in. I just got to be really strict about my calories throughout the day until then. So, learn the game, learn the rules to play the game. That's my end point. So, I'm going to go home, eat something, lay in the sun, get a little bit more UV. This summer's going well. This summer is going quite fucking well. And if you did not know, if you're over on the West Coast by, let's just say you live in Anaheim and you've never heard about the Fit Expo before, well, guess what? It's coming August 29th and 30th. So that's going to be, yeah, what am I saying? Like a month and a half-ish from now. But yeah, big-ass expo, badass group of characters are all going to be there. So if you've never been, I would recommend it. Now, if you're like only kind of into the gym, I don't know if it's worth like a 12-hour flight if you're like not really into it that much. But if you're only a few hours away for a drive and you've got a couple of buddies, you've never been to a Fit Expo or any fitness expo before, and you're really into the gym, like you're watching all these different YouTube guys and whatever, it's worth a trip. The first Arnold I ever went to was only, I think, 4 years ago. Yeah, 4 Arnolds ago. I wish I would have gone sooner. That's that's one piece of advice I could tell you. So if you can make it, I really would recommend coming to check it out. Plus, you can probably leave with like a backpack full of random energy drinks and like pre-workout samples and stuff. So I've seen guys that get their money worth for whatever a ticket ends up costing. They'll take a picture of their, sometimes they stay in a hotel, and they do, it may as well be a money spread of like all the free shit they got from the expo, and they'll cover the entire bed in energy drinks and pre-workout and just random stuff. It's a good time. So if you can make it, I would highly recommend it. I'll be there, that's for sure. So I'll see you tomorrow for some arms.